This chair is delightfully comfortable. Hello, I'm Gareth and I'm going to talk about cameras today. Film cameras. All of these in great detail. These two, tiny little film cartridge. These two use this. These disposable flash cartridge thingies. Two Kodak brownies. How pristine is that? The two Polaroid cameras I have. Less so this one. Sod that. Iconic. It contains, yeah, this is empty by the way, so I just have it in there so I don't lose it. The film has the batteries in it. I have a broken Canon, the novelty football camera. Oh, right, and I found, hidden away, some slides. The other day I bought this book, Old School Photography by Kai Wan, and it's a very entertaining read, and I was getting a little bit into it, and I was like, hang on a minute. I started out with 30, because it's all about using, well, film cameras. It's having a bit of a resurgence. And as you can see, I've got a bunch of film cameras. That's how I started out. I like photography, it's something I do for fun. I was introduced to it by, you know, my father and my grandfather. Because it would have been something, you know, they'd have been taking pictures and I'd have been like a little kid, just like, oh yeah, you know, can I have a go on the camera? Anyway, I've ended up in possession of two of my grandfather's cameras, one of which is in the other, it doesn't work, the batteries fried it, but I've got this, which when the guy in the local, well, it's not like a full-on camera shop, but it's where they do, you know, the film developing and so on. Saw this, he was like, I've got one of these, you know. So I'm looking forward to taking this out. Because I mean, this is the kind of camera I would have learned how to take pictures with, you know, one of these like little point and shoot cameras. God, I had to think about that then. Yeah. When you turn it on, because it's got like a built-in zoom lens, it was the first time I'd ever seen a camera do that. Because I was used to ones where it's like you flip a little switch and it pulls a shutter cover thing back. This was like magic when I saw it as a kid, with everything being automatic. Like it's got little modes and things on the back. It's wonderful. Anyway, so I'll be taking this out. We'll talk about the film in a second. And I dug out my actual SLR camera. Oh, the other thing is finding batteries is difficult. Because I've had more than one SLR. This isn't the first SLR I've ever had. It might be the third. Anyway, I had originally a Zenit something, which I enjoyed, but it was quite difficult to get lenses for. And in the end I ended up with this, a Minolta Dynax 500 SI, and I haven't been able to use it for years because the batteries for a time became prohibitively expensive, and film wasn't too bad, but obviously there's no point buying film for a camera you can't get batteries for. Or can't afford the batteries for. But anyway, that doesn't seem to be a problem because I managed to do both today. Although what's happened is with the resurgence of 35mm interest, 35mm is the type of film. If you've ever used a film camera as a child or an adult, and say in the 90s or 80s or whatever, it's probably going to be 35mm. it's like well, it was the most common. What's happened is with the renewed interest in it and the pandemic combined, it's suddenly become quite hard to get hold of. So it's great that people are interested again. Really bad for stockpiles of film. But I'm not too worried about that, because I'm sort of, it's going to be slow going for me, I think. But I'm going to be looking at lenses actually for this, because this uses something called the alpha mount. If you use Sony cameras, you might be familiar with that. Well, that came from Minolta. Minolta made the alpha mount, then Sony use it. Don't ask me, I don't know. But this old camera can use any alpha mount lens from the last 30 something years, I would say. Anyway, I had a grand old time with this. Very durable too. So I'm gonna look forward to seeing if both these cameras still work, and getting back in with 35mm photography, while still carrying on with digital stuff, because I haven't forgotten about that. But I haven't really said why I love doing this, and I just find it quite peaceful. It's a very simple thing, you know. It's not you know, I'm not particularly artistic. I just like capturing things I see which are pretty, you know. Mostly wild world stuff, not really people. Or, you know, it's not like I ever wanted to be a fashion photographer or anything like that. I'd just be out in the world like, oh, that's a pretty landscape, you know. But I just think it was an interest that was instilled in me, and I haven't really devoted as much time to it as I would like. And I think because of the limited stockpiles of things, I'm going to take a bit more care. So, quality over quantity. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm out.